Okay,
So
respectfully, Your Honor, I would like to say I will not
pass the
wait.
matter. No more. Pass the matter. Rejoin the
I just
break
want to
out.
make sure that I'm not.
No more. Pass the matter. Rejoin
Judge,
the
may I
breakout.
place the defendant in
Your
breakout on
attorney.
5?
Thank you.
Welcome to today's courtroom showdown, and trust me, this one is going to test your patience and your understanding of the law. We're diving into a case where the defendant, Destiny Raven Graves, brings what many judges consider classic, sovereign citizen arguments into the courtroom. If you've never heard of it, this is a belief system where individuals claim they're exempt from government laws, that traffic rules, licensing, and even jurisdiction don't apply to them. Judges across the country have heard these arguments for years, and nearly all courts reject them as baseless. But here's the catch. Sometimes, these claims still stall or complicate proceedings, leaving everyone, prosecutors, judges, and yes, taxpayers, frustrated. In this hearing, the judge doesn't just shut down these claims, he goes head-to-head with Graves in a tense back and forth about jurisdiction.
This essentially what I consider sovereign citizen stuff. Everybody else is taking deals for the same instance, and these sovereign citizens come in here and with no basis in the court's eyes, and they get to go off scot-free.
So
I had
a lengthy discussion with my client about that, and I was not able to, and I made effort to pull up some points, some authorities that I could bring to bear with respect to the issue of jurisdiction, and it just was not cognizable to me. After having
you're meaning on the court not having
I think, but after having discussion with the prosecutor about it, well, she was under an impression that the court had to prove jurisdiction, and I just indicated that the court, it was not necessary for the court to prove anything, but the court would at its discretion accept what it felt had been proven. And the most relevant thing I think with respect to that is that my client has previously had a Michigan driver's
Judge, we didn't go back on the record.
I'm sorry to know that that's...
No, we're just talking off the record. We're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm glad to have this discussion off the record too, Judge. So, I really don't have a argument as to jurisdiction. I don't think my client was very helpful with respect to that, and she needs to have a revisit to that type of material.
I don't know
because it's quite clear to me that there is
any of the other ones any good, because they're open on and I'm just going to start treating those cases a little bit differently now.
I understand completely your frustration.
There's got to be some fairness in it, and I don't see any fairness in that.
Well, we all need to be accountable for our behaviors.
And there it is, a line that sums up this entire case: accountability. Judges often use moments like this to remind defendants that traffic laws aren't just arbitrary rules. They're about public safety, fairness, and consistency. When others in Detroit are paying fines, fixing licenses, and following the rules, you can see why the judge is losing patience with what he calls sovereign citizen stuff. Here's my question for you. Is the judge right to hammer down for fairness across the board, or should exceptions be made if the prosecution chooses not to pursue?
Ms. Graves, are you there? Can we get started?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
This is the city of Detroit versus Destiny Graves. Case number is SP 1069059, counts 1 and counts 2. SP 172-47881, SP 172-4805, counts 1, 2, and 3. SP 172-48361. Appearance for the record, please.
Good morning, Harry Bachman, P5. 5052 on behalf of the defendant. Would you, ma'am, state your name for the record?
Yes, my name is Destiny Raven Graves. That's capital D, lowercase ESTINEY dash capital R, lowercase AIVYN, colon, capital G, lowercase RAVES.
Judge, this is matter set for final pretrial. We have this for jury trial tomorrow. Having discussed this with the prosecutor, is the agreement of the parties that the instant cases would be dismissed. Now, my client has valid registration and insurance, Your Honor, so we would ask that those matters be dismissed for compliance. The remaining issues, as the court note, is that the defendant does not have a valid driver's license, and I would ask the court to dismiss that case on the basis of prosecutorial discretion. The defendant understands that would be all of these dismissals today are based on technicalities and are without prejudice, and therefore it is the discretion of the prosecutor whether or not they wish to recharge these counts at any time in the future.
Now this is where things get really interesting. The city prosecutor wants dismissals, but the judge isn't buying it. Because he believes it sets an unfair precedent. Imagine this. If every defendant could claim a vague sovereign citizen defense and walk away, how long before everyone tried it? The judge is clearly signaling here he's not going to allow what he sees as shortcuts or gamesmanship in his courtroom. But notice the tension. Prosecutors don't always want to waste resources on these cases. So, who should have the final say here? The court seeking fairness?
And it's the court's discretion on whether the court wants to accept that as a that offer that the prosecutor has extended. And as I was talking off the record, the court doesn't see really any fairness in these sovereign citizens being able to come in and proclaim that. With the court has seen no basis for it at all whatsoever. The rest of the individuals are required to either get a valid driver's license, or the court extends those offers or accepts those offers when individuals come and rectify the situation after the fact, which the court doesn't have to do, but does that routinely when people go and drive and get a valid license. So I'm not going to accept the plea of the city attorney's office in the because essentially, I don't know, because they don't want to fight the matter or something. It's going to have to go. Because I don't think it's fair to the rest of the citizens that come in here, and if they don't have a valid license or can't get a valid license, to resolve their matter with some sort of deal, but have Ms. Graves and the rest of the sovereign citizen nation come in here and they get their cases dismissed just because I don't know the reason in particular, but what I would surmise is that they just don't want to deal with it. So I'm not going to accept all. We can have
Understood, Your Honor. May I make a clarification that actually the defendant made to me with respect to the sovereign citizen aspect of this argument. My understanding is that this is not that this individual is arguing that well, why don't you give some clarification, Ms. Graves, to the arguments you're making that this court doesn't have jurisdiction or has to.
This is classic sovereign citizen language, misnomer, corporate fiction, special appearance. These are buzzwords pulled from pseudo-legal templates you'll find online in sovereign citizen circles. What Graves is really arguing is that the government charged the wrong version of her, not the living woman, but some legal corporation she claims was created on paper. Courts across the US have rejected this logic repeatedly, but it doesn't stop people from trying. It's fascinating, though. Graves isn't denying she was pulled over. Instead, she's saying the law applies to her corporate entity, not her natural self. What do you think?
Prove jurisdiction that jurisdiction is not present because you're present in the jurisdiction. Can you tell us why you're not subject to the laws of the city of Detroit when you are a driver in the city of Detroit?
First of all, I thank you for this opportunity to speak, Your Honor. I am here appearing specially, not generally, and I am raising my abatement on misnomer. And yeah, that I'm raising my abatement on misnomer, and that's it. I'm raising my abatement on misnomer.
I don't even understand what that means.
I'm sorry. Can you say it again?
I don't even understand what you just said or the meaning of what you just said.
I'm raising my abatement on the grounds of misnomer because I've been misidentified in this case, and I'm just pointing out the defect in the case. And I'm aware that misnomer is a very fatal mistake in a case. So I just wanted to point that out in my case.
Is that misnomer? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
All right. So so obviously, what Ms. Graves, what I understand Ms. Graves is trying to say is that they pulled over the wrong person. It wasn't her that was actually driving. If she's saying that I guess that's what she's indicating. I don't know. Maybe you can clarify that.
Your Honor, respectfully, no, that's not what I'm implying at all. I don't deny that I was not there in the interaction on, that day with the police officer. I'm not denying that at all. I was there and I am present now here as well. What I am saying is that there has been a misidentification between me and another party. I've been misidentified as a corporate fiction rather than a natural person.
All right.
Which
so that's the same sovereign citizen stuff. Just doesn't, that's the same sovereign citizens argument in the court's eyes. So I don't, that whole, I'm not a person, I'm a corporation, and I get to be able to travel freely upon this road and without impediment. Listen, this is the state of Michigan, the city of Detroit. The Constitution and the amendments to the Constitution give the state the authority to force individuals on the road to keep for the safety, health, and welfare of its citizens, to have a minimum requirement for them to be able to drive what and try for the safety of the individuals on this road.
Here's where the judge finally lays it all out. The state has the constitutional authority to regulate roads, licenses, and safety. Sovereign citizen arguments almost always crash here because traffic laws aren't optional. Courts have consistently ruled that if you drive on public roads, you must comply with the state's requirements, period. But notice how the judge balances firmness with procedure. He doesn't just dismiss the case. Instead, he insists it must move forward, either trial or plea. That's important because it prevents this from becoming a revolving door of delays and loopholes.
So the fact that you feel, or I'm assuming that you feel that you don't have to have this because you're this special entity or whatever claims that you're making, the court does not recognize those claims. Therefore, the court is not going to accept the fact that the prosecuting attorney or the city attorney in this case does not want to go forward with it because they don't pretty much, I guess they don't want to take the time. I'm going to force this case to go either to trial, or I'm going to force this case to go to a plea. You have your absolute right to a trial. You have a jury trial set for tomorrow. What we'll do before the end of the court today, we'll have a sidebar with the city attorney, or you can speak with the city attorney, Mr. Boffman, and you can go over that and you can relay the court's
This moment is critical. Graves is still pressing for proof of jurisdiction, but the judge shuts it down with a hard truth. The court doesn't need to prove jurisdiction beyond showing where the offense occurred. And since Graves admitted she was present during the stop, the matter is settled. Notice the frustration in his tone. This isn't his first sovereign citizen case, and he's drawing a line in the sand. At this point, it's either trial or plea. What would you do in her shoes? Keep fighting a losing battle, or accept a deal and move on?
Apprehension to take this deal to the city attorney and see when they want to move forward, okay? And you can set, we'll give that, we'll at least give that opportunity to set a new date. But that stuff that Ms. Graves is speaking on, however you want to be, however you want to be addressed, Ms. Graves, the court has, quite frankly, is getting pretty tired of it, all right?
Respectfully,
Let's
Your
pass
Honor.
it.
Respectfully, Your Honor, I would like to request evidence that the court does have jurisdiction over my living person and not my
That's not
corporate.
the court. That's not the way the system operates, ma'am. You need to read the Michigan court rules and educate yourself better. I don't know who's been teaching you this stuff, but quite frankly, the court does not have to give you any jurisdiction. And you challenge jurisdiction. The court says you were pulled over in the city of Detroit. You indicated that you were at the scene. The officer gave you a ticket. That is notice for you to come to court. You set a court date, and therefore you're here now. So other than jurisdiction being that you weren't in the city of Detroit when this offense occurred or these allegations occurred, then the court will hear an argument about that. But as far as anything else other than that, whatever you're speaking on, the court is not going to even entertain that. All right.
Respectfully, Your Honor, my
We
presence
understand, Your
alone
Honor.
does not equal
All right.
established
I told you
jurisdiction.
I'm not entertaining that stuff. I let you make your record. You've made it many times, and you have there's a record down here. So either go back in the breakout room and wait on Mr. Boffman to figure out what this trial date is going to be. I'm going to let you be heard, and you can put that to a jury of your peers. All right, and the jury of your peers accept your argument about you not having to have a driver's license and the court not having jurisdiction. Then that won't even go to a jury. But if the court will accept your argument about whatever your position is, ma'am, and they find you not guilty, then that'll be the case. But other than that, we're not going to keep going back and forth with this. All right.
Okay, respectfully, Your Honor, I would like to say I will not
the
wait.
matter. No more. Pass the matter. Rejoin the
I just want to
breakout.
make sure that I'm not.
No more. Pass the matter. Rejoin
Judge,
the
may I
breakout.
place the defendant
and go
in
to your
breakout room
attorney.
5?
Thank you.
So here's where we land. Destiny Graves brought a textbook sovereign citizen defense into court, misnomers, jurisdiction challenges, and all. But the judge wasn't having it. He made clear that fairness requires consistency. No one gets to bend the rules just because they declare themselves outside the system. The prosecution may not have wanted to pursue this case, but the judge ensured it would move forward to trial or plea, refusing to let it die quietly. It's a powerful reminder that while sovereign citizen arguments may sound creative, courts almost never recognize them. Now, here's where I turn it over to you. Do you think the judge went too far in rejecting the prosecutor's dismissal, or was he right to stand firm for fairness? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this breakdown as fascinating as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom analysis.